everybody quickly. Okay, now you all have to forgive me when I screen share now. That's when you are zooming. Okay, but I need the. Oh my word! What am I doing? Hang on, Mandy doesn't know what she's doing now. This is normal. Where's my file? There's the file. Okay. Oh, where are you? It's on the. It's not there. It's here. Sorry, everybody. I'm an amateur at this thing right now. Okay, so there's a fabulous photo when I eventually get to it. There's a fabulous photo of Oscar at the stadium.
It's that him.
I think it's this picture here.
It was the last one.
Can everybody see that? No.
So that picture was in 1994, and it was probably my second or third rally of covering South African elections, and I was so scared. I can tell you one thing. I was so scared because it got dark at the end of the evening, and I didn't know anybody. How do I get back from Soweto to Johannesburg? And I didn't know how far it was because they took us with the international media. And there were some people that have drinking and having a good time, and somehow they said, "Come and join us." And I don't remember. I grew up in the U.S. I grew up in a different kind of neighborhoods, and I was so scared. And then the people who gave me a lift that evening, I met them later at the Cartoon Center because they were performing there, and it was Jonas Kwangwa, George Lee, and other musicians. So I was, but then it was a different story because then I knew they were famous musicians. But yeah, at the beginning, I didn't know who these people were. So I was so scared. Yeah, as you know, when you come to another country and you don't know what you expect. So that's the story about that picture.
Can everybody see that picture that knows what we're talking about? Can you give me a thumbs up, guys? No, you can't see the picture. That doesn't help much. Hang on, Oscar. I need to find out what I'm doing here because something's gone horribly wrong. Mandy appears to be an amateur today. Please forgive me. It says I'm screen sharing and I don't know why. I'm not. How about that?
That's the one.
Okay.
1994.
Okay, so we're at that's so at the FNB Stadium in Soweto.
Yes.
Okay.
That's when Madiba came to give his speech in Soweto. Probably was 2-3 days before the election day, the voting day.
What was the energy like?
Sorry?
What was the energy like?
I'm telling you, that one is another reason I stay in South Africa because I have covered many elections from Mexico, the US, Canada, Dominican Republic, you name it, so many places. And this one was so much good energy from the majority of people. Of course, is the Black community. And I was so amazed to be among them. And somehow I became part of the crowd. And it's undescribable, the energy that was there. It's undescribable. The expectations of people and the happiness, and it was beyond what I expected. I've been, like I say, I've been in so many elections, covering elections, but this one was probably it was the best from all of them. So I really enjoyed myself with the people who were celebrating, and as well with the people that were not celebrating. I used to socialize with a lot with the white community from Pretoria, and they were not very happy. So they would ask me, why are you here? I said, well, I'm coming to elections. I said, we want to get out, and you come in here. I said, but me, answer to your question, the energy is undescribable. It was so nice.
Oh, that's magnificent. That's
Made him go, didn't he?
his journalist. Okay, let me see if I can find a new picture for you without losing what we're doing. I don't know how to get out of there.
Start from scratch.
This was all sorted out. I don't know what I've done wrong.
Can't Michelle help you?
Right.
And for those who know what it is, this is scan negative, as you can see.
Okay, can you see that one? Walter Sisulu?
Very well, and I remember that moment very, very, very well. I think it was 1997 at the Communist Congress in Johannesburg. I think it was Nazareth. And when Madiba gave his longest speech ever. And one of the things I remember was that the Communist Party was very upset with him, and many other people were so upset with him, Kosato and all of them. The reason was because he read this speech, and then he said, well, this is what I was given to read. And then he said, let me tell you what I think. He said, Gia is here to stay. And it was silence in that venue. There was thousands of people. You can hear the silence, and people were so upset because they were not, they didn't want to go through to the palaces of Gia of those days. The people want to do more than go into the communist side, a little bit more communist and socialist and things like that. So anyway, so that's when Madiba told the Communist Party, Gia is here to stay, and it was silence in that venue. So it was at that moment, and I was as well. I remember taking the picture because I was so close to them, and probably I shot it with a 35mm lens, and I had to put my hand in the table because I was shooting film, and the ASA, it was so dark there. So I shoot, I think it was like 15th of a second at 2.8. So, and I decided to come as close as I can. And one of the reasons is because those days, you know, it's film. I could not change the ASA of the film. So, and that's one of my favorite pictures of those two together.
It's a beautiful picture. I want you actually have to wonder what was going through Walter Sisulu's mind at that point.
But I can tell you one thing. When Madiba was with Walter Sisulu, Madiba was kept quiet. Walter Sisulu was the one who spoke. It was one thing I noticed that the respect that Madiba had for Walter Sisulu was amazing. Remember, I didn't know much about these people because I'm new in South Africa. So, and then I realized that really, he really respected Walter Sisulu beyond what many of us know. And he gave me the space that you first, I'm second, something like that. But yes, the respect of Madiba for Walter Sisulu was amazing.
Okay. This beautiful photo over here, which is a really magnificent photo. Where was this taken?
This is a unique image because this is when Madiba, before he went, I believe before he went to Central Robben Island, that's what the cell that he spent time on. And there's no only picture. There's the only picture of Madiba at his cell is this picture. There were no other picture were allowed to take of Madiba. So I was privileged to be able to spend time with Madiba and be able to take those images. But remember those days as well. With Madiba, you have to be very sensitive in terms of many other reasons. But one is that you cannot use the flash. So
because of his eyes.
Yeah. Because his eyes, yes. We found ourselves in difficult situations sometimes that I'm too dark, too bright, and so we had to make some decisions. Yeah. And yeah, this is I would say this is an iconic image because it's Madiba himself, and nobody else had pictures of Madiba himself except that I was the lucky one.
Where was this cell? Is this Constitution Hill?
It's the Constitutional Hill, yes.
Where's the other one?
Okay, it's amazing, amazing photo. It looks quite, look, he looks quite old in this photo. So, I mean, how soon before his death was it taken?
But the thing is, his schedule, this is what after he left to be a president. So maybe after 5-6 years after he left to be a president, his schedule was amazing because from 5 in the morning, he was out. And can you imagine at your age of 70 or 80, whatever the age was, he was there, going to Ethiopia, going to London, going to New York, and all these things. I don't know where they find the energy. Believe me, because at that age, you want to be maybe playing golf or I don't know, something different. But the amount of traveling, it was amazing. So yes, he was very tired that day. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. There, we've done that one. Okay, this is quite an iconic photo as well.
Yes, this is a very iconic, especially for Mozambique. There is no other picture or other photographer allowed to be close to Madiba, Chisano, or Renamo. And I was the only one because I knew the security guards. And normally I would wear a t-shirt and one camera. And this one was shooting with this camera with the 20mm lens, a wide angle. And I was so close to them that I had to back off. And all the photographers were outside the tent, where you can see the tent in the background.
Yeah.
That's where the photographers were. I was the only one to be next to them. So in terms of history for Mozambique and South Africa, this is probably one of the iconic images of Renamo, Frelimo, and Madiba. And like I said, there's no pictures of them together. And the only picture that exists is this picture. And the reason is iconic because it's the three together, and I was so close to them that I had to back up a little bit more to be able to have the tree in the picture. And of course, and in my back, I had to be very careful because I had the security guards and I cannot upset them. So I had to push a little myself, a little by little, and take the picture. So this is an iconic image for, I would say, for Mozambique of the three elements there.
So this would have been 94 as well then?
Yes. That's when Madiba came to say to Renamo, thank you very much for being part of the process of elections and reconciliation. And one of the beautiful things is that when Madiba saw Renamo, he says, how is the family? And Renamo says, fine, Mr. President. And how was your family? And it was quite beautiful. And the conversation was very personal. And it was so touching to see the three of them together, especially Madiba with Renamo, Takama.
How do you feel looking back now, knowing that you were living through the most amazing history?
Obviously, now that I'm scanning negatives for the past 3 months, or no, 5-6 months, I'm looking images now that I took a long time ago. And sometimes it's so personal, but it's very touching for me because I was allowed to be so close to them and be able, I managed to capture history and documented the people's life. In this case, is Mandela. So it's also undescribable how I feel because I don't do exhibitions and I don't have that energy to do exhibitions. But when I see the images, I see the value of history being documented, not because it's my pictures, yeah, but I think I did a decent job. And remember, those things, like I do things on my own. Nobody pays me. I do my own things. And sometimes it's a little bit tough, as you may know, as a freelancer. But nevertheless, when you see these images, it pays off.
Okay, I can't hear you.
Michelle,
No, it's fine.
you
Carry
hear me
on. You're
now?
back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's quite amazing to think that we didn't realize, I don't know if any of us realized back in those days when it was all happening, exactly what was actually going on and how incredible the history was that was happening in front of us, and we were living through it. And I particularly love this moment that you've managed to capture in this picture. It's absolutely beautiful.
This is another iconic image, and happy to be this the only picture. Is the only picture of this is exactly Madiba's cell. That's where he spent time before he was sent to Robben Island. And George Bisto and his assistant, they called me like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and they said, you took a picture of Madiba and me. That was George Bisto, his lawyer,
Yeah.
of those days. And I like to use the picture. I've never seen it, but I would like to teach the picture for my book. And I said, I will be with pleasure. And then Josh Lobo would put a picture on his book on the cover of him and Mandela.
So that's Bezos on the left, then there's Madiba, that's Kathrada.
Yes.
And then Chaskelson on the right.
Yes. And if you look into one of the things that I look into, and the beautiful of this image for me in many ways is the mixture of people's backgrounds. You see Madiba, George Bisto as a Greek, Cattrall from the Indian side, and the judge from the Jewish community. So if you see the mixture of people, the Madiba was surrounded. Who was his friends? This is his closest friends. So it's fascinating to and it just open your eyes, and I think in my case it make you a better person when you see people like that. The friends are mixture of people from different backgrounds. So and this thing of course is an iconic image because it's Madiba at his cell and with his best friends in the cell.
I just love the smiles on the, I mean, if you look at Bezos has got the most beautiful smile. Madiba has just a beatific kind of smile on his face. Kathrada's looking on it, and Haskelson must be saying something very interesting, you know? He's talking with his hands.
I can tell you one thing about this image. The problem is that then again, we cannot use the flash. So I was shooting at 800, 1600, 400, push it at 1600 ASA at 2.8 lenses, which is this camera. And then I think I shot it at 1/8 of a second or 1/4 of a second. So I said to them, gentlemen, please do not move because I'm shooting at very slow speed. Of course, I don't know if you understood what I was trying to say because my accent, or because I was so nervous, I always got a little bit nervous when I saw Madiba. And so the photo is a little bit soft, but because the condition that we were taking the picture into, and that's the thing that with experience, which when we travel as a photographers, we always make a plan. And I'm telling you, I was so happy that I managed to have that photo printable. So yes, it's an iconic image.
Oscar, why do you think you were allowed to stay so close to Madiba? What is it about you?
I think many people that see me part of the circle, and because I don't think one thing I'd say is like when I get to situations, I don't like to engage with people. I say good morning, good afternoon if I can. Otherwise, I don't say nothing. And normally, I have one camera or two cameras, and no jackets, only a t-shirt like this. So first of all, the security guards, I'm not threat to anything. Yeah. So
yeah.
Security guards, the guards, they always, I'm not threat to anywhere. So I get some kind of license. And I don't have bags and not. There's two cameras in. That's it. So I was lucky that I still get access to many things that for the same reason that I think I'm in the background, but I'm not in the background. I'm navigating where I'm going to take the picture, and you learn the process to be invisible sometimes, and then you take the picture, and then you move. At the same time, you take the picture and you walk away.
No, it's a beautiful photo, and you should be very proud of it.
Thank you.
How many photos do you think you've taken in all these years?
Well, I can tell you, I've been scanning for the past 5-6 months every day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. It's thousands. And at the end, if I can get 50 good pictures at the end of the process, I will be enough. Not 50. If I can get 5 or 10 good pictures of all my files, I will be more than happy.
Okay, I'm trying to get to my desktop, and it won't let me get there. Because I have a whole lot of pictures in another file, but they're not in photos, they're on the bloody desktop. Oh, hang on, I know where we can look. Right. Okay. So now, no. Sorry guys, I'm doing it to you again. Okay, so now, hang on. There, we've done that. Tell us about this. Who is the man with the hook? Friar Hook.
That's Father Michael. He lost he in a bomb, and they put a bomb in the envelope. I think he was in Zimbabwe. Father Michael, I forget his surname.
I think
he was one of those priests that really helped the ANC in many ways. I don't know all the details because, as you know, I came late in my life to South Africa. But in terms of history of the ANC, he was behind supporting the ANC in many ways. So him and Madiba were very good friends.
Is it Lapsley?
Sorry?
No, wrong one. I'm just looking for who it was. Did he have one hand or two hands?
Two. The two were off.
Okay, so he's Michael Lapsley.
Yes.
Okay. The priest who had both his hands blown off in a letter bomb. Wow. And an eye and an ear. Okay, that's hectic.
Yeah, no, it's yes, and he's still around, and I've not seen him for a long time because at one point him and I used to have tea in different places, but then again, you know, things change, people move on, and the lady on the middle is Cheryl Carroll.
I have an email from her. No, in the days before emails, I have a fax from Cheryl Carolus thanking me for doing the catering for Joe Slovo's funeral.
Ah, you see. So, and the gentleman in the middle is the Cuban ambassador to South Africa in 1994.
He looks very casual for an ambassador.
Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of ambassadors, I sometimes I get in trouble because my social life, I go to so many social events, and when I come across for ambassadors or diplomats, I try to remind them that their public service, don't come to me with this thing that I'm so special. They are public service, and I'm glad you noticed that. You know that he's a public service. He's not. They think they're superstars. Yep.
I had a thing for the Russian ambassador. They've recently changed him. He was absolutely gorgeous, and we had him at Life in a Garden for an event. We chatted to him, and then a couple of months later, I went to a premiere, a movie showing, not a premiere, at the what's the center? The Holocaust Center. And there he was, standing with another very well-dressed man. And I went up and I gave him a hug and a kiss, hello, and how are you, and whatever. And I turned around and said, so who's your sidekick? I mean, literally in those words, who's your sidekick? Anyway, he like looked at me and smiled, and the man introduced himself, and I didn't understand because he had a very thick accent. And I said, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when we went in and they did their little speeches, he was the ambassador to Bulgaria or Romania or one of those that's next to Russia. I mean, as usual, I put my foot right in it. Nothing unusual there.
Yes. No.
Okay, switching to this one. I think this is a beautiful photo. Wow, what a moment.
Yeah. That's Mr. Hero Belafonte.
Did he sing?
Oh, hey,
And no, but I can tell you one thing that I spent some time with Hero Belafonte because at the beginning of the conversation, he was in Johannesburg and he was looking for a photographer. And I said, so where are you staying? He said, in Melbourne. I said, what do you mean in Melbourne? I said, yeah, I'm in Melbourne. And a guest house in Melbourne, 2nd Avenue. I said, no, man, I live in 1st Avenue. I said, come over. So I went to this place. He was staying in one of the guest houses in Melbourne. That's Mr. Hero Belafonte. So it was fascinating. At one point, so anyway, and this, talking to Madiba in private, and he says to him, do you remember when you came to Geneva? And yes, I remember very well. I put this meeting together for you to meet the South African Jews in Geneva. And you need to express them to them that there was not going to be changes on the government. It's safe to stay in South Africa. And Madiba, he says, yes, I remember. I explained that to them that they're part of the society, they are South Africans, not to worry about it. And so the one who put the meeting together was Hero Belafonte. And many people don't know that what role he played and to make sure that people won't leave, the white community won't leave South Africa before 1994. That the properties were safe, the money was safe, the bank accounts were safe. There was no reason to run away from South Africa. So it was quite beautiful to sit in these private conversations. Normally, I don't sit in private conversations. And the only problem is that where they were, the door was locked from the outside. So I cannot go out. So that's why I cannot repeat everything was said. But nevertheless, I was in that conversation because I cannot get out of the place because the door was locked. So yeah, that's one of the things I want. I don't want to hear nothing because the less I know, best for me. I'm a photographer, and I like to leave it that way.
Is this at the Mandela Foundation, this photograph?
Yes.
And is he wearing the same shirt that he's wearing in the picture in the background?
It looks like it.
Does look like it.
Yes. He loved to shoot. I mean, I love to shoot too, because but obviously, I don't think nobody will do a justice to wear some kind of shirt like that because it was unique for Madiba to wear shirts like that. And yeah, and obviously, as you can see as well, I'm maybe 2 meters away from them there. I'm so close to them. So that's another thing that I was blessed, and a lot of photographers take pictures with telephoto lenses because they are not allowed to come so close. In my case, I was in my knees next to them, maybe 1 meter away or 2 meters, maybe a meter and a half. So that's also makes it unique. This image that I was so close to them.
That's absolutely incredible. What a privilege. I mean, so many South Africans never even got the opportunity to meet him, face to face.
Yeah, and in my case, I met it so many times.
Well, I can see from your photos, I mean, how many times you've actually met him. It's absolutely incredible. What are we looking at now? It looks like some kind of conference.
You know, this is the construction of Constitutional Hill. This is when
Ah,
there was the construction. So the people in the background, they are the workers. They are the one who built the Constitutional Court.
okay.
And I'm telling you, they were not expecting him to come over. They just told them a morning before, I think the same morning, because security reasons, and then they decided somebody decided they must come and say hello to Madiba, or Madiba decide I want to meet them or say hello to them. So it was quite unique for them and unexpected to be able to see Madiba so close. And yeah, unfortunately, it would be nice to give to those workers those pictures, but as you know, people move on.
Yeah. I mean, look at this guy over here. Just look at that smile on his face. Hey? Isn't it just, oh my, what an experience.
So can you imagine? That's a lifetime experience, because they are the labor, and the chances for them to meet people like Madiba is none. And it happened to be that this time they was able to see Madiba and wave him and smile with him, because he spent, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes smiling with them. And because it's irresistible to see these people smile.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Happy
A beautiful
and
smile.
judgment. So it was quite beautiful.
And a good little photo up there for checkers. You should ask them for a bit of bakshish for that little photo there.
Yeah, one of those things then.
Okay, that is your bio, so we don't need to share that on the screen. What are we looking at here?
Oh,
Grasa.
Yes.
she named it.
This is the one in the picture in the background on the left side.
Yeah.
Is that's Samora Machel. So that is Gracia Machel's ex-husband. So for those that know history, now Madiba's in the center. They're celebrating his Samora Machel's birthday in the north of Mozambique. I think it's maybe like 3 hours away from Maputo. And I happened to be in Mozambique that week or that month. I used to go to Mozambique very often. I used to call it my second home, hotel home, and I love Mozambique. So then Koknan and some friends said, "Hey, Madiba's in town. Why don't you come with us?" I said, "Okay, I'll do that." So then again, I managed to be with Madiba, and there was so many things. And this friend of mine I was traveling with, she said, "Can I take some pictures before we went to this event?" And she dropped the camera.
Oh,
So yeah, I know. So when we get to this event, the camera doesn't focus. So I had to pre-focus, guessing. Okay, this one is maybe 4 meters, 5 meters. So I pre-focus the camera, and look. Remember those days there was no light meter in the camera. This one, so I had to guess the exposure as well. So, and I managed to take the images of that moment. But this is a very unique moment, because it's Samora Machel birthday, and Madiba is also in the picture. And as you can see, she's dancing to the camera.
yeah, it's a beautiful photo. It really is. And you can capture the emotion. I mean, you've caught it so beautifully of the picture.
Yeah,
I mean, just look at that. She's
and
just...
of course, after this event, Madiba comes out, and we go to a small room, and Madiba's a little bit upset. So I said, "Why Madiba so upset?" And I didn't know why she's upset. And I can hear Madiba tell Gracia, "I'm Nelson Mandela. Yeah. Can we have more protocol here?" So there was something that, we all human beings. So he was upset for something. So I said, I don't belong in this conversation at all. So I walk away. But after this dancing was some kind of disagreement between the two of them. And of course, after that, we all have lunch together. Yeah, it's a unique picture also for history of Mozambique.
Did you see them together often?
Yes.
Do you think they were
I
happy?
don't know how many times, but yes. Yes, I saw them also at Constitutional Hill. I saw some events, and it was sometimes they used to be like children, the two of them.
What, like
The
happy
way
together, little secrets and things.
The way they talk to each other. It was quite beautiful. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing, and the way also she take care of him with all the respect and love and all this thing. It was quite beautiful to see them together.
Very unlike him and Winnie.
Sorry?
Very not like him and Winnie. Don't worry, Oscar.
Yeah. English is my second language.
What are we looking at?
This is the second, and the same event, and that's what she said after this event that I just mentioned. So she called him and said, "Okay, let's go. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy the afternoon and let's enjoy the guests." And it was so fascinating. Let me double check here.
Who's the happy chappy on the right? He looks like a mate of yours.
The one on the right.
Yeah.
He wrote a book about it. His name is Antonio Ramos. He's a famous writer.
Yeah, that's a very familiar name.
We did a book on Mozambique. So he knew Madiba, he knew everybody there. So it was so nice to see him there as well. And so we did a book about Mozambique long time ago.
The bodyguard in the back doesn't look too happy.
No, because there were so many issues like at that event.
Sorry, my mother just said something to me and I really can't share it with you. No, yeah, behave, Mum. Okay, who are we here? Look, there's Oscar Gutierrez.
Yes.
Oscar, how tall are you?
He was tall. I'm telling you, he was like serious tall. But I'm short. So anybody taller than me is I'm showing him at that moment. I'm showing pictures that I took of him somewhere 94, 98, 97. So he's looking at the pictures. But equally important, the gentleman to the right is John Masakisa.
Okay, I'm going to show you my ignorance here because I don't know who that is.
I don't know if you remember John Masakisa.
No, I don't know who he is.
His
That's just me.
wrote the music for King Kong.
Okay.
His father wrote the music for the King Kong. He was a very well-known writer and an actor. He passed away maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and also in Melbourne. John Masakisa.
I see over here the gray is starting, huh?
It's the lighting.
Oh, is that what it was?
The
lighting. Okay.
It's one of those things.
You know what? You know what gray hair means? It means you're still alive.
Thanks, man.
Okay, what do we got here? Very serious photo.
Yeah, that also a very unique. The gentleman on the left, it was the Prime Minister of Australia,
Okay.
John something. So anyway, I met John in the Partonian Hotel. He was staying there, and also he said, "You know what? I'm going to go see Madiba, and are you available?" I said, "Yeah, I'm available, of
Yep, I'm
course."
always available.
And I didn't know who he was in the first place. So it took me a while to figure out that he was quite well-known politician, but he was the Prime Minister of Australia. And one of the things that when you take pictures of a client like him, and you don't have you have to be very careful to what kind of pictures you take. At one point, he was crying to see Madiba, and it was quite beautiful. I didn't take pictures of that for the same reason.
It's a very
But it was so
personal
beautiful
moment.
to see him, the amount of respect that he had for Madiba. And then, as you can see, the engagement of the two of them. And as well, I was probably 3 meters away from them. So to avoid to hear any conversation they will have, because they're politicians, and you want to stay away from any conversation that they may have. So anyway, that's also a unique, because there is no other picture of the Prime Minister with Madiba. And this is at Madiba's house.
And Madiba is saying, can you imagine what life in 2020 in Joburg is going to be like?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. And then there's this one. Okay, we know where that is. That's Constitution Hill.
Yes.
And there you are with your 2 cameras.
Yes. You see, no bags, no nothing.
So what happens? Where's the spare batteries and the spare film and the spare lenses and all that kind of stuff?
One bag would have 3 rolls of film. But remember, those cameras don't use batteries. They're manual. And it's no flash, so I don't have to carry flash for batteries, no flash, anything. So the film, and that's it. And navigate where's the good angle. So yes.
So who took this picture of you?
This is a friend of mine, Andrew Carlin, and he was my flatmate in Washington D.C. So I called him. I said, "Listen, what are you doing? What are you doing this morning?" I said, "I'm doing nothing. I know I'm busy. I'm busy," he says. I said, "Well, I'm going to take pictures of Madiba Constitutional Hill. You want to come?" He said, "Yes." But at the beginning, he told me, "I'm busy." Andrew Carlin, he's very busy man. So, and one of the things that with his, I gave him a camera, and I said, that was the beginning of digital cameras. And I said, "This is set camera. Just take pictures whenever you can, but stay always behind me." No, Andrew Carlin will be always next to Madiba. I said, "Move, move." So, and he sent his camera to take, like, I don't know, then maybe 700 pictures or 500 pictures. So he chose the smallest size of image because he wants to take a lot of pictures. He was not interested in the quality. So,
Quantity over quality.
We all learn in the process. And he's not a photographer. He's not a photographer, so that's the way it is. And I think I'm lucky that the picture is in focus, but I can tell you, I give cameras to people take pictures of me sometimes. And what I get is pictures out of focus. So, and that's the way it is. So, yeah.
Okay, well, next time I see you, will you hand me the camera and I'll take a photo of you?
Yeah, please. Then I will give you maybe I will give you maybe this one. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think
So this one is, I don't matter focus the whole thing. Make life easier sometimes.
Okay, we're done there.
Mm.
I think I'm out of
I think
pictures
the
here.
first 4 plus.
I think we've done all of these. Oh, let's talk about this exhibition. This looks interesting. And it was recent, it was a year ago.
Yes, I was like 2-3 years ago. We drove to Africa for 65 days. This is nothing to do with Mandela. So we drove into Africa for 65 days, all the way to Ethiopia, and come back to the Indian Ocean. And in the middle, I took a picture of this tree, and that was the cover of the book. So I did an exhibition with Andrew and David Copeland at the anthropology department of DITS. And so yes, so that picture is, we blow it up. I think it was 2 meters by 3 meters high, and we use this amazing German paper, which has gold and the highlights. So when you see the image of the tree, it's so beautiful because somehow this tree is alone. There normally is many trees next to each other, but this one was alone. I don't know why. They cut everything. So, and that was the cover of the poster. It's one of my favorite pictures.
And it's one of those perfect pictures where everything is in line and the tree is in exactly the right place, you know, like the 2/3 mark, and the colors all balanced. Did you cut it to get it that way, or was it taken that way in the first place?
No, that's the thing that because the tree was not going anywhere. So when I looked at the tree, I said I want to take one picture, maybe 2. So I took 2 pictures, and because like I said, the tree is not going anywhere. So I put the angle where I want to, and so before that, we passed that tree maybe 45 minutes or half an hour early. So I said, no, we need to come back. I need to take a picture of the tree. And I said, but why? Michelle said, why? He said, because I want to take a picture of a tree. And we drive back like half an hour. So we ran late to the next location. And the reason I was thinking that by the time we get to that distance, there were no clouds. And that's when I want the tree without clouds. I didn't want to compete the tree with the clouds. And I saw the sky clear. So I said, no, let's drive back. So we drove back and there was no clouds. And that's why another reason that I like the picture as well, because otherwise, if you had a beautiful tree and then you have the clouds, they will compete with each other.
Yeah.
And I want the tree to be the central point. And I was happy that it works.
It does work. It's very beautiful. Okay, and then there's other exhibition. This one.
Yeah, this one's and for his birthday in 2018. We did an exhibition at Bamboo in Melbourne of images of Madiba, and it was quite interesting. That so I think the first time people have seen some of my images, and it was a good experience to be there. And it got to the point that the BBC came over, and they said, no, we need to be here longer. So they called the office, and I was everywhere with the BBC. And after the local networkers saw that I was in BBC every half an hour, every hour. So I got all the local news. So now they want me now. So they did a special programs, SABC 1, SABC 2, SABC 3 on my life. But it took the BBC to feature in the program of Africa for the locals and to acknowledge that I have taken pictures of Madiba. Well, nobody knew because I don't show my images. That's another thing. I don't blame anybody.
Well, I actually went to this exhibition. It was lovely. It's a lovely little venue, that gallery upstairs at Bamboo.
Yeah, thank you. It's amazing because as you know, you can put easy 30 images, and you can spend quality time look at the images, and as well, you can go downstairs, have something to eat or something to drink, and come back. And it's accessible. It's always parking. So I love, that's one of my favorite venues in terms of local venues to expose, to have an exhibition.
So, Oscar, the spotlight is back on you now. What about a book? Will there be a Oscar Gutierrez coffee table book?
It has to be done. You see, the thing that's another reason I'm scanning images, because I have so many images. Like yesterday, I finished with the images for India. 3 weeks ago, I finished Ethiopia. Today, I'm scanning Lesotho. So there's so many images, and I'm lucky that I have a professional scanner, so I can scan images now at 4,000 dpi, 150 megabytes. So
those are big pictures.
Big files. So
yeah,
then I would be easy to go and see the images. As if I can show you something here. This is just to give you an idea. So it's massive. The scanning images, and of course, some time ago I was invited to go to Spain and to do some exhibition of some of my images about jazz. So we managed to print a book in Spain, and I dedicated it to Brenda Fassi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I called Telegraph to the Sky.
That's stunning.
So this image is in the National Museum of Art in Spain, Madrid. And
I've been there.
3 meters high by 2 meters long.
That's a big image. Wow.
So that's Brenda Fassi. So and so yes, that's the idea. That at one point have some books, table books about those images, and because they are history somehow. The thing is that I have the energy to go and take the images, but the energy for doing exhibitions, books, I don't have it. I have the energy to go and scan images, go and take the pictures. The next level, I think it's for somebody else to take over. They say sometimes after you die, people do those things for you. I hope it's not my case.
Yeah, please don't wait until you've died for somebody to do something about your photos. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to find somebody to, like a ghostwriter. You basically need a ghostwriter and a couple of people to come in and sit down and go through photos with you, get the backstories, and then just put something together. I don't think it's a lot of work, but it doesn't sound like it's a monumental task. You just have to make time in your busy life for somebody to be there. In your photos,
you know what? Now that I'm scanning images, for example, in my Craigslist, I took pictures of a Rocket Street, and I think they say that I'm the only one who has some images of Rocket Street in terms of photographers. And I'm assuming that most of the photographers that went to Rocket Street, they were socializing too much, and they were not interested in taking images. But remember also, and me, in my own craziness, so I took pictures of Yogo from '94 to even up to now. I've still got to Yogo. So at one point, that can be a beautiful, a nice book about.
Did you ever? Do you remember that painting of the miner that was on the back of the wall? What was the street behind Raleigh Street? Kenya. I don't remember, but on the old cinema, that was where Bapita and all of them were. On the back wall, there was a huge painting of a miner.
Oh, that's right.
It was the most amazing piece of graffiti. Did you ever take a picture of that? Because when they renovated, they destroyed it.
Probably I did it. And but as you know, Yobo was one of those beautiful places to meet people, especially if you're an artist. Um, and so much history, and yes, and hopefully one day, at one point, I will have. I think I have enough books, enough pictures to do a small book about Yobo now.
It will be nice to see, and I definitely like to see that. Are there any pictures, any questions for Oscar? No, but everybody's been so quiet. I've got a bit of feedback here. What unique photos from Chris? Any other comments, anybody? Like any questions for him? This is your chance to ask them. Oscar, what is it about you that you always seem to be in the right place at the right time to get an invitation to a fabulous event to take pictures of somebody famous? Are you a stalker?
Yeah, I think because my personality, I like to be out, and even like now that I'm scanning images, I take maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. I go to Soweto, Alexandria, looking for images. So I'm always out, and I acquire a lot of good friendship with many people in South Africa and many other places, and somehow I think sometimes is I listen too much, and I think people wants to tell you stories, and they're looking for somebody who can listen. But I don't know. To be honest, I'm just guessing.
No, that's fair. And then one other question: you arrived in South Africa in '94, and you've never left. Why is that?
Well, I've been in South Africa, but I've been going to many other countries as well. In the process of being in South Africa, I've been in so many other countries in Africa, India, you name it. I think in South Africa we have some kind of quality of life that you can meet people who the places, and South Africa is so beautiful wherever you go. I know it's difficult times, and especially now with the situation of the virus. But there's so many things, especially if you look into, if you like jazz, there's so many beautiful jazz in South Africa. And they are internationals, and rock and roll as well. So poetry, there's so much beautiful poetry, and I happen to know and engage and socialize with South African artists or African artists. So, and when you engage with people that do similar things that you do, and you grow. And
Absolutely.
That's why I found myself that I every time I often engage with people, I grow, and then I have access to. They say, "Oh, come for drinks, or come to this event, or come to this thing," and also I can tell you sometimes people confuse it with famous drummers or
Guitarist.
So
But like Carlos Santana.
Yes, I can be in a. I was Carlos Santana at the what is it called Santon Convention Center for Tito's birthday. So what happened was I'm there, I'm socializing, and I have a glass of something with me, and Carlos Santana says, "Are you drinking in the job?" And I said, what do you think I'm working? Because I had the camera, he assumed that I was working. But the way he asked me, he said, "Are you drinking on your job?" And I said, "What makes you think that I'm working?" So he got quiet. But also Carlos Santana is quite tall. So I'm looking, what do you think I'm working? But anyway, even if it's none of your business. But anyway, so I managed to be in a lot of events, and this particular was with Carlos Santana, which I love his music.
I don't know, Oscar, you definitely have mixed with some fantastic people in your time. I'm very, very impressed. So I just want to give you some feedback here. Mariana said, amazing, thank you. Gilda said, yes, please, a book on Yeovil, where I grew up. Gilda, you haven't grown up yet, girlfriend. Kerry said, so special to see these powerful and somewhat unknown pictures. Thank you so much. And Barbara said, fascinating. Thank you for sharing your amazing photos. And it has been truly amazing chatting to you. It really has been. Oscar, thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to say as a parting shot to everybody? Besides goodbye.
Especially to people in Africa, I'd like to thank you very much for all you opening doors and your hearts and give me space and your life. And thank you so much for your support. As you know, as an artist, we all need some kind of support, and a lot of people have opened the doors in many ways. So I'm very grateful. And there's too many names, and some of them want to keep it private as well. So I respect that. And but thank you so much for tuning and follow your dreams and all the best.
Thank you, Oscar. It's been absolutely wonderful chatting to you this evening. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. Tomorrow, we're chatting to Justin Abelman, a naive artist, and that's at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So I hope you'll all join us for that as well. Have a fabulous evening, everybody, and a great weekend. Bye, all.
Bye.